There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with a friend. Now, we've spent 5 episodes so far talking about this internal battle with 5 discomforts, the things that great men choose to do in order to live a great life. We talked about managing the morning and expanding our minds and disciplining our bodies, choosing undesirable work and spiritual dependency. But here's the truth that most men hate to admit. Isolation is the graveyard of greatness. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're the only one that knows your goals, you're going to be the only one who knows when you quit. Today, we're going to tie it all together with the discomfort of brotherhood. And I'm going to show you why your lone wolf mentality is actually the biggest limit on your life. Let's be honest. Most of us have been hurt by people. We've all been betrayed. We've all been let down, and everybody I know has been judged at one point or another. So in response, most of us build some kind of wall. We tell ourselves, from now on, I'll just handle it on my own. I don't need anybody in my business. I don't need no help. And we build this wall that we call independence, self-sufficiency. But if we're not careful, the wall that we build to protect ourselves can also suffocate our dreams and our goals from the external fuel that we need. Okay, let me give you an example. See, a single hot coal, no matter how bright it glows, it's going to eventually get cold if you pull it away from the campfire. I mean, many men don't realize that they didn't lose their fire, they walked away from it. I've never seen a fireplace or a barbecue grill burn all night with just one log or one briquette. What men have to understand is that the fire of the many protects the fire of the one. And the Bible makes it plain. I mean, think about the paralyzed dude in Mark chapter 2. If the guy didn't have spiritual goals, he probably at least had physical goals. He probably wanted to be able to walk and do what normal folks do, but he was paralyzed. He couldn't get to Jesus on his own. He couldn't do anything on his own. And in this story, the crowd was too thick. The obstacles were too high. But he had 4 brothers. And the Bible says that these men didn't just pray for him. I hate when people say, I'll pray for you, and then they don't pray. It's the craziest thing in the world. But they didn't just pray for him from a distance. They picked up the mat that he was laying on. They climbed up a roof. They tore a hole in a ceiling. And then they lowered bro down to the feet of the healer. Let me ask you a question. Who are the 4 men in your life that would tear a roof open for you? If you don't have those men, then you don't have a brotherhood. You have associates. You have colleagues, but you don't have brothers. See, associates will watch you and say they'll pray for you while you're paralyzed. But brothers will carry you to the point of your breakthrough. Okay, I'm going to go back to neuroscience just for a second, and we're going to talk about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, because if you remember, in a few episodes back, we talked about it, and it's the willpower center in your brain. But here's what's crazy about it. It actually fires at a higher rate when you're under social accountability. Let's keep it real. When you know a brother is going to ask you at 6 a.m., did you get up? Did you do the work? The discomfort of disappointing that brother is often stronger than the discomfort of getting up at 6 a.m. You don't want to tell him that you didn't keep your word. You don't want to tell him that you didn't do the work, because the discomfort of disappointing the tribe is often stronger than the discomfort of the task itself. So brotherhood will help us to bypass our own limitations. Brotherhood will help us to bypass our own laziness. So this is a short episode this week because we're tying everything together for the 5 discomforts. So I'm going to give you the Limitless brotherhood basics. Number 1, create a circle of 3. Listen, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Everybody needs a circle of 3. A circle of 3 is 3 men that you have in your life that have full permission to ask you the ugly questions. That means you're going to have to give them permission to dig into your business a little bit. Maybe they're going to ask about your money. Maybe they're going to ask about your relationship with your stepkid. Maybe they're going to ask you about the way you're treating your wife, the ugly questions. Because if you allow them to ask you the ugly questions, then the accountability level that's needed to bring healing, health, success in those areas of life is always going to be in front of you. Number 2, the weekly audit. A basic of brotherhood is to make sure that you get in a 15-minute call once a week and you just keep it 100. And in these calls, I'm talking no fluff. Just where did you win? Where did you fail? And what's the target for the week to come? When you get that kind of an exchange of honesty and awareness going with the brother, you can't help but grow. And guess what? They'll grow too. And number 3, the transparent ledger. Ledger is an accounting term, and basically you're tallying up the areas where you're in the black and the areas where you're in the red. In other words, this is where you say, hey, man, I hate to say it, but I'm struggling in this area. Or I'm having a real hard time in this area. And the more specific you are, the better this one works. In fact, the more specific you are in all 3 of these, the better it works, because you get more opportunities to be lifted up, to be encouraged, and for the men in your life to be able to breathe encouragement and strength into you, even in the areas that you struggle. And somebody's saying right now, LC, I don't have any men like that in my life. Well, then you got to be the man that you're looking for. Because let me tell you this, if you're that man to somebody else, then you're creating brotherhood, not waiting for brotherhood. See, brotherhood isn't found. Brotherhood is forged. And it starts with you being vulnerable enough to say, I can't do this alone. And you know what happens to the brother on the other side? He realizes it and says, you know what? I can't either. And neither one of us has to. So if you're ready to stop being a lone wolf and start being part of a pack, I got one for you. It's called Limitless. Listen to me. This is your tribe. We added this bonus discomfort of brotherhood because the truth be told, none of us can break our limits alone. That's a wrap on the 5 Discomforts series. Listen to me. You are not a man without a blueprint. You're a man of God. And if you want to learn more about that, stick with us on Limitless, and we'll help you to stand tall in every area of your life. I'll see you next time.